Antiguru, enlightenment, Jed, and Chris style. Good morrow. This is Chris speaking, Shores of Infinity, with a video about gurus and anti-gurus. During the last 2 years of my influencerdom, of my strolls into YouTube land, I have learned that I tend to be a bit like UG and Jed McKenna. It's not that I try to copy them or emulate them or parrot them. It's just the way the Chris thing works. Which is the first thing that is important for awakening, to realize that your personality, that which you call I, is not you, or at least not all of you. It's just a program. And the way my Chris thing is programmed is to be anti-guru-like, a bit tough and harsh, like Gurdjieff, like Don Juan, like UG Krishnamurti, like Jed McKenna, like Nisargadatta Maharaj, like Bodhidharma. There's a long list of these anti-gurus who have been not so empathetic, but more shaking people awake. In the Neti method. No, that's not it. That's not it. Keep on looking. That's not it. It's not telling people what to look for, but to remind them, okay, that's sleep, that's sleep, that's sleep, that's not awake. Many of you who are and were listening to this channel during the last months or years, they have been awake already. But most people who are awake are only awake for some time and then they fall asleep again. Staying awake is something you have to fight for every day, every hour, every minute, every second. It's very easy to fall asleep again, because we're programmed to fall asleep. It's part of our program. It's the Kanda buffer organ of Gurdjieff. But without being awake, there's no non-dual enlightenment and no full enlightenment possible. As long as you still take your personality seriously, as long as you still take what everyone calls reality seriously, there's no enlightenment. Sorry. It's a game, a dream, a movie, like in the Matrix. Or a stage, like Shakespeare said. And like Shakespeare, you can pretend it's real. The important thing is not to see it as real, because everything is mind. It's not that mind is a product of space, time and matter. It's the other way around. Space, time and matter are products of the mind. One very cool thing I learned in a Gurdjieff school more than 20 years ago was to verify everything. To not to believe anything. And also not to trust in knowledge or experts. To verify everything and to see, does it work for me? If it doesn't work, I discard it. If it works, I keep it, as long as it works. But the most important message of an anti-guru is that you don't need a guru. If you need help, there are all kinds of other people around you who can remind you not to take things too seriously, especially your own personality. It's about finding your inner master, inner mistress. The time of heroes and heroines is over, and gurus are also heroes and heroines. They're not necessary anymore. They might have been necessary a few decades or centuries or millennia ago. But now it's really go inside, go inside, go inside, go inside. And while you're going inside and look for the truth inside of whatever this self is, or this conglomeration of selves, it is useful to practice what Carlos Castaneda calls controlled folly. Controlled folly is to pretend to other people that you take things seriously. Your job, for example. Or which holiday to plan next. Or which nice things to buy. Because it really doesn't matter. But in a social context, it does matter. Just to be social, to stay social, not to become a recluse in an ivory tower. This whole game is about pretending that you're not alone. Also, it's a good thing to ask yourself what you're looking for. Someone else said recently, this and that technique feels empowering. Empowering to whom? Who feels empowered by this or that city? Or taking psychedelics is very interesting and empowering, and you can learn a lot from them. Who? Who is it who enjoys this? And who thinks who can learn a lot from them? Who is it who's looking for the next guru, for the next idol, for the next teacher, for the next course, for the next information? There's really nothing to say or to teach except Neti. The mother, for example, she said, there is nothing to teach. There's only to remember, to remind. Same thing in the original Buddhism. Half of you is already a Buddha and half of you is a fool. The interesting thing is to find out which is which. And very importantly, not use spirituality as an escape, as a means of freeze, fight, flight, or fawn, trauma reflex. So why are you looking for enlightenment? Why and who? Who in you is looking for that? Because most of the answers are only found inside. Many gurus either become anti-gurus like UG or Jed McKenna, or are completely inaccessible like David Kars, or they stop speaking like Meher Baba, or Mother Mira, for example. She doesn't speak much. If you watch her videos, they're only silent meditations. Or Sri Aurobindo only communicated by letters at some point. Or other gurus like Gurdjieff and Nisargadatta Maharaj and some others, they scold the students who flock to them, or throw shoes or something. And for some reason my Chris thingy also seems to be like that. Again and again people tell me that the way I speak in the videos is very negative. Yes, it's because of that. All these success gurus, they just want to sell you something. And these nice gurus who tell you that everything is well and that you're doing okay, and who are full of compassion, I think they're lulling you back into sleep. That's the greatest danger of religion and spirituality, that you're lulled back into sleep without noticing it. You're following a spiritual or religious path, and still you're asleep, because it's just another mechanic, another mechanism, another unconscious movement. Asleep. So while I'm not aspiring to be any kind of guru, there seems to be the urge to remind people to wake up, or for those who woke up already, not to fall back asleep, not to become complacent, not to think, okay, now I have arrived, that's it. We are engaged in a constant game or war with Maya, and she's much more intelligent and experienced than we are. So my advice, keep your eyes peeled, look inside, and don't lose your sense of humor. Thank you for listening. Thank you for liking and subscribing. Thank you for joining me as a Patreon. Thank you to all my patrons. And thank you for sharing the videos with your friends. And see you soon.